Hello guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, before I get into this story, I want to give a special shout out to Miss Diana. She sent me a card in the mail, and she sent me a gift as well. Miss Diana, I appreciate that. She's out of California. Shout out, Cali. And your gift was well received, and I'll put it to good use, man. But this story here right now, guys, I got some surprising news out of Memphis. Shout out Memphis. And it's about the 5 Memphis police officers who we study on this case. We all know them by name. And surprisingly, in about an hour from now, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, these guys will be in front of a federal judge, all of them. Now, I think it's the preliminary, just going in there and talking. First time they're appearing in federal court as a whole. And I think I know what it's about, but check out this news story, bringing us up to date, and we'll come back and talk about it. Check it out.
Happening today, the former Memphis police officers charged in the murder of Tyre Nichols are expected in federal court. Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, Demetrius Haley, and Tadarius Bean are facing multiple federal charges, including excessive force, failure to intervene, and witness tampering. Surveillance video shows 29-year-old Nichols was brutally beaten by the officers during a routine traffic stop last year. He later died of his injuries. The former officers also face state charges, including second-degree murder. All have entered pleas of not guilty. And this all comes just 1 week after the release of new audio and video recordings from that incident. ABC's Morgan Norwood joins us now. Morgan, let's start with today's court appearance. This is federal court. Talk to us about the charges that these former officers are facing and what the lawyers on both sides are saying about it.
Yeah, this is definitely a case to watch here. We're talking about 3:30. That's when things will kick off here in federal court. Those former Memphis police officers. So within the next couple of hours, remember, this is a case, that reignited calls for police reform and racial justice. So these officers, we know, were charged with excessive force, failure to intervene, and witness tampering. Their attorneys, Phil, have already argued and filed close to 24 motions on a variety of issues, right? Things including dropping charges altogether. It's unclear how this hearing is going to go. Later today, we may find out how they plea. But the federal leg of this case is definitely one to watch, as one of the 5 officers originally charged in this has already pleaded guilty to federal civil charges and could testify in the case against his ex-colleagues.
Okay, so let's talk about the audio and the video, this new audio and video that were released. What does it show? Yeah,
so we've got 21 hours of newly released audio and video. This doesn't necessarily show us the encounter, right? We don't see much of Nichols, but what it does give is context, what the conversations were like before the arrest, after the beating, even the conversations with his mom. Remember, Phil, we know that he was crying out for his mom during the final moments of his life. So we hear first responders and police suggesting that Nichols was high on drugs, right? His autopsy later finding low levels of alcohol and THC. And then we hear officers tell conflicting stories about what prompted the traffic stop in the first place. For example, one officer saying Nichols drove into oncoming traffic, but later in that same video saying that he stopped at the red light and put his turn signal on. So while we've seen the brutal beating a year ago, that video that, police had released, this new footage helps piece together the timeline, both for the prosecution and the defense. I'd imagine that they're going to be leaning into this as they build their case, both on the federal and the state side.
And you said you were expecting 3:30.
3:30.
All right, we know you'd be watching. Morgan, thanks.
All right, guys, let me say this real fast. This is not their trial. It has not started. The trial starts for the federal trial starts May 6th of this year. The state trial starts in August. So I just want to clarify that they're not going to trial today, or the trial didn't start. But what I think this is their first time appearing in court. They filed some motions. A couple of the motions that they filed, that they named, was they filed a motion against expertise in talking about what was a abuse of force and what was were they being too rough with him. Basically, that's what they're trying to do. Because remember, I did a story. What was it, last week, I think, where they're going to try to bring people on the state level that are within the police department that are trainers, and they want to break down that video piece by piece in the courtroom in front of the jurors and have people say, have the trainers say, hey, but they weren't taught this. This is not right. They're trying to ban that in the federal courtroom. Now, remember, these federal charges, it's a civil case, like civil rights, saying they violated Tyre Nichols' civil rights. And we went over that too as well. Today, then nobody's getting locked up. They're just going to go in there and they're going to talk. Remember, this on the state level, they had the motions, they had them talking and stuff. This is the federal part of that. So now, first time in federal court as a whole. Now this starts. They have their appeals and all of that. Hopefully today we'll find out if they get denied some of these appeals that these motions that they're trying to put in, and we'll take it from there. But I mean, now it then started, things then kicked up because in May 6th, they're supposed to be in front of this court, in front of the on trial in the Fed. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, as far as that, that's all I have. But like one thing that I'm thinking about, well, a few things, but the one thing I'm thinking about is now that they put all of these videos out, the defense wants to strike some of the stuff as saying irrelevant or, you know, is up for debate, in proving that the civil rights of Tyre Nichols was, you know, taken advantage of, which is why they're in there. This is civil, man, it's an ambulance outside. But they're saying that, you know, basically what they did was by the book. You heard them say it, and they want to get certain things taken out. And they don't want somebody on the inside going against them saying that, hey, what they did was out of line. I don't know how these motions are going to go through, but honestly, looking at the whole thing, I don't know how they try to fight a civil rights suit when they did violate the civil rights in every damn scene, on every body cam. So, I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do with this thing, but I mean, they'll have some updates. I'll probably have another video out for it today. But I mean, I didn't even know this was happening. I just got in the house from work and I'm like, boom, it then popped up. I'm like, okay, let me get this out to the people. But this is going to be interesting because the feds are different than the state. They don't play no games. They'll dismiss things and they work quick. So we'll see. It'll probably be some blockbuster news today. And they might, you know, dismiss some of these things they're trying to put in front of them, these obstacles that they're trying to put up in defense of these officers. We'll see though. But stay tuned. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, justice for Tyre Nichols, man. This thing is starting to roll. We'll start to roll. We'll see where it ends. See you in the next video. Take care.